Hey, what's good, y'all? Hope you're doing well. Today's video is all about growing asparagus from seed. So if you guys are into this type of thing, don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, do all that kind of good stuff, especially if you guys like the video. If this is about growing veg, there's a really good chance I'll be talking about it here. I am in zone 9 and it is early December. Our temps right now are in the high 40s to high 70s. To me, it's like damn near spring, really. Asparagus, dude, is one that I have not grown in a long time. In fact, the last time I did grow the asparagus, or last time I did grow asparagus, I managed to kill it because I ate the first year's harvest, which you're not supposed to do. And that's what makes growing asparagus hard for a lot of people. From seed or just kind of otherwise, it's because it takes a lot of time in order to get it. But when you really sit back and think, or when I really sit back and think about how long it takes asparagus to grow, it's really not too different than any other fruiting crop, really, other than really you're not supposed to eat the fruit the first year. The reason you don't want to do that is because asparagus needs at least 1 or 2 years to establish a really good root system to actually give you a lot more asparagus spears. So if you actually harvest those plants during the first year, not really allowing those plants, which come in the form of ferns, you're not allowing them to get established the good root system because they haven't been able to collect enough sunlight, which is going to pump down into the bottom and give you more and more asparagus. But anyway, man, we'll get into all that, man, later in detail. So there's a couple different reasons people don't like growing asparagus from seed. Like we were getting at before, one of them has to do with time. It's going to take some time. In some cases, up to 4 years, possibly, begin to be able to harvest your asparagus. However, the other case is, and the biggest reason, is because you don't know if you're going to be getting a male plant or female asparagus. That's because asparagus come in both male and female. So basically what ends up happening is if you get females, what's going to happen is that now that female is going to concentrate some of her energy, not all of it, but a good part of her energy is going to go, why am I supposed to be holding it? A good deal of her energy is actually going to go into the production of the seeds, right? Well, the other part of the production will go into creating more spears. It's just that now you're not going to maximize the amount of spears that you can actually get as if you had a male. If you have a male plant, it doesn't have any seeds. It just concentrates only in making spears to generate more ferns, to generate more spears. The female will give you spears, just not as many as the male. All right, so this year, y'all, I'm going to be doing 3 different types. The first one I'm going to be seeding out is this UC72 asparagus. UC, y'all, I'm assuming it's coming from some kind of a school system. I'm not exactly sure to where this one's coming from. However, one of the biggest reasons I am growing this one is because it is actually drought tolerant, and because we can get very dry around here, it'd be nice to actually have something in the ground that doesn't require as much water. I made that hole I missed. I plan on growing a bunch of asparagus out this year. Seeing that I have the space, man, I can really start playing around a lot more with different perennials. UC72 asparagus, man. Pretty certain that this is an F1 variety. I'm not 100% certain, but I am almost positive that it is. Another cool thing about this one, or what's attracting me to this one, is that it actually is said to give bigger spears than the Mary Washington. So that is UC72. All right, y'all, the next one I'm gonna be growing is a UC157 asparagus F2, or F2 asparagus. So this one definitely is a hybrid in the F2. Yeah, and again, it has the whole UC thing going on. This one has actually developed not too far away from here in Riverside. That's one of the main things that attracted me to this actual variety, is because for the most part, it's local for all intent and purposes. I'm out here in Fontana, zone 9. I know that this was actually grown in zone 9 or developed in zone 9. So I have to imagine it's gonna do great around here on my plots. That's what's up. Big up, Riverside. You stand up. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to growing this one right here. This one is actually, I mean, I'm excited about growing all of them, y'all, of course, but this one right here, man, really, every time I see Riverside, dude, I'm jumping on it. I have a really, really good feeling that it's gonna be doing awesome. Now, I also seen that Jock in the Garden, he's down in San Diego. He also is growing the UC157s. And what he showed on his video is that he planted his out from plant start, which ultimately is what I'm going to be doing here as well. But what he did show y'all, at least the ones that he got, that he picked out, again from plant start, so you really don't know at this point. They did not have any female plants. Actually, he had one female plant in all the ones that he grew out. I'm not exactly sure on how many he grew out. It's almost making me wonder if a lot of these hybrids might be grown for more of the male flower. I'm sorry, for the male plants. But we'll wait and see. I'm not opposed, honestly, to actually be getting any of the female plants, because part of the idea around here is to be getting more perennials out to you guys. So the more seeds I got, the more crowns I can get out to y'all. Now, I will be getting rid of more females, of course, at the beginning, but I won't be getting rid of all of them. I'll just be pulling them up as I find them and then leaving, you know, the better looking plants and harvesting the seeds from them, so I can do just like I just told y'all. Now, another thing too that I've been seeing for both this one as well as the UC72 is that you might be able to get a harvest as soon as your second year. You might be able to get in and actually start harvesting them up then. Once again, Jock in the Garden, these UC157, he said that he actually got a pretty decent harvest during year 2 with these guys. So we're gonna be playing around with these ones, man. That's one of the things about some of these hybrided asparagus, man. It seems like they actually might be a little bit more forgiving or giving. When it comes to growing asparagus, y'all, there's 3 different ways, in fact, that you're going to find to be able to grow them for your garden, man. You're going to have seed, like what I'm doing right now. You will also have plant start, so like if you pull up into your local nursery, they might have some for you there. And then also you can get them in crown, more like a bare root. Most people are going to lean toward the crown, just because they say that it's actually going to grow your plants faster. That being said, again, Jacques, some of the research he was finding, that you actually might be able to harvest a little bit faster from plant starts than actually from crowns. And the stories that he was telling about some of the early harvests he had with his plants, yo, I'm willing to actually go from plant starts. Ultimately, that's what I'm doing. The reason I'm going seed start, y'all, is because I want a lot of asparagus, and this is the best bang for my buck. I'm really doing with this screwdriver, making a small little divot just so the seed has a place to kind of fall in. Doing my best to not stab the screwdriver all the way to the bottom, because I want the seed to kind of rest closer to the top. And then last, but of course not least, y'all, we have Mary Washington. She will actually give me a fair amount of female plants or ferns. But again, like I said, it's not that big of a deal. When I do see them actually going to seed or to berry, I'll just be pulling them out then. Not before I allow some of them to actually go to full seed, so I could actually be collecting even more seed for myself, for what we just said before. Mary Washington, man, is pretty much tried true, just kind of a classic. Grows well all the way in zone 3 to zone 9. Majority of your asparagus, y'all, can overwinter in a lot of really cold winters, a lot of cold places. That's one of the cool things about asparagus. So as you see, man, I'm only growing green asparagus. A lot of people will also grow purple. I'm not exactly certain as to why I didn't grow any purple. Maybe after we're done here, I'll go and grab some purple asparagus, or maybe if I can find some plant starts, I'll plant some out that way here. There's really no such thing as a white asparagus outside of it being a green or maybe even a purple asparagus, and it just got blanched. So as it grew, a person just kept on covering it, kind of just mounding it over, and yeah, it kept it white. It's a spear. It's just kind of designed to push through pretty much anything, and that's how you get away with keeping a nice white asparagus, if that's what you want. These guys, I'm not planning on doing anything like that. So even though it's going to take asparagus a little bit of time actually to get started, the cool thing about it is that once you get them up, dude, a lot of times they actually won't need to be replanted again. At least one crown won't need to be replanted again for, I think, like 15 years. A lot of people will even say upward of 20 plus years. Asparagus is a real one, man. It's a real good perennial to have around. It will stay around your garden for a long time. It's got to get past those first 2 to 3 years, man. After that, you're golden. I was getting out before, y'all. You want your asparagus to grow fully. And then once it starts turning yellow, that's where you're going to go ahead and pull it out of the beds. You want it to be pretty crispy, though. That's how you know that all the energy from the plant is now down into those roots. That's where you want all that energy, y'all. So you want to make sure that your plant is 100% void of any kind of green before you pull it. If there's always going to be exceptions to the rule, man. You know, if anything kind of goes down with your plant, then, you know, act accordingly. However, You want to make sure that those ferns are 100% just crispy, crackly, just crack, and then go ahead and take them off campus. At least that's what I plan on doing. They actually have a beetle that will lodge inside of them, an asparagus beetle that will lodge inside of them that can overwinter, especially in the winter here like this in California. You want to make sure to either stay on top of your ferns or yeah, just get them off plot. Now, the one cool thing I will say about all that is that asparagus is a set and forget as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't really require much. Again, you're just kind of putting it into the ground, letting it grow, and then coming back and harvesting it. And that's another reason why I'm going to just be getting all of the ferns, the dead ferns, off of the plot, just because I know I'm not going to be looking at the plant like that, you know what I mean? I'll be looking to make sure it doesn't have any kind of aphids or anything like that. For the most part, I'm not going to be searching for any kind of beetles. So when it comes to harvesting asparagus, y'all, there is kind of a loose base guide, I guess you can have, when it comes for harvesting them throughout the courses of the years. Like I've been kind of mentioning now, y'all, when it comes to year one, very little. And the only reason I'm actually even harvesting any is because I have so many of them. And I feel as though I can probably put one or two off per crown and be fine. And that kind of just depends on how many I see actually establishing at one time before I go and take any out of whatever crown. But that's kind of year one, but for the most part you probably shouldn't mess with year one at all. As you go into year two, like a lot of your seed packets will tell you, you can actually start harvesting them then. A lot of people will let you know, just go ahead and chill, don't harvest at that point. That being said, because again we have so many, I do plan on harvesting some from year two. And like how I was mentioning before, when it comes to year two, how Jacques actually did get somewhat of a harvest out of that. So I might play around with that as well, but most people will tell you just go ahead and leave it alone for year two as well. Once your asparagus hits year three, it's said that you have right about 4 weeks to actually harvest, or 3 to 4 weeks to actually harvest your asparagus. So, you know, again, the goal is to make sure that you have enough asparagus growing so you can have more next year. You know what I mean? You don't want to harvest up all of them from one crown. You want to make sure that you're leaving a fair amount. The way I kind of look at it, y'all, it's kind of like I'm harvesting a kale plant. You know what I mean? I'm harvesting the bigger leaves. Not saying that you're going to find bigger, smaller, although you can, asparagus spears, but I'm just harvesting enough off of one plant, and then I'm leaving a lot of those leaves of that plant to keep my plant going. It's kind of the same concept. All right, y'all, so here we are. We got them all labeled up and ready to go. Just gonna go ahead and throw these into the indoor grow tent. Leave them there for right about a month, 3 weeks to a month, and then we'll see. I don't know, either I'm gonna be potting them up or I'm gonna be just putting them out into the plot. I already have some spaces for them to actually go into the plot if I need to, because I don't know if I want to pot them up. So basically the goal was to start with right about 300. And of course we're just going to keep on cranking away at the new remodel of the garden, if you will. And then depending on that, you know, we're going to be adding more perennials, not just the asparagus, of course, but we'll definitely be adding more asparagus to that. I really like the hedging effect that they give or lend to a garden part of the year, you know what I'm saying? As well as they're delicious. I feel as though they will do very well at our market stand. So yeah, y'all, asparagus. It's a perennial, again, so it takes a little bit longer to establish, but once it's going, y'all, it's a lot easier. You know what I mean? So I'll talk to y'all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe if you're still rocking with me this far. Let's get it. I'll circle back around, of course, man. It'll probably come in short as to the development of our asparagus. Big up, yo.